Why are you wearing my bracelet? The question stops Dante Moretti mid-sentence. His hand, the one currently signing a contract worth 47 million freezes. His gray eyes snap up to the woman standing in the doorway of his office. A woman who has no business being here, no clearance to enter, and absolutely no idea that the bracelet she's asking about has been his most guarded secret for 15 years. Before we continue, please subscribe to Scarlet Romance Tales. I promise you stories that will keep you up all night. Now, let's get back to the story. Sophia Chen isn't supposed to be here. She's supposed to be downstairs in the Moretti Hotel ballroom, coordinating the annual charity gala like she has for the past 3 years. She's supposed to be invisible. The event planner who makes magic happen while staying completely out of sight. She is definitely not supposed to be on the private executive floor, staring at New York's most dangerous man, demanding to know why he's wearing a braided friendship bracelet that looks suspiciously like the one she made when she was 9 years old. Excuse me? Dante's voice is dangerously quiet. The two men sitting across from him, investors judging by their expensive suits, exchange nervous glances. Sophia's heart is pounding, but she takes a step forward. The bracelet is right there on his wrist, peeking out from beneath his custom Tom Ford shirt. Red and blue thread, faded with time, tied in the specific pattern her mother taught her. The pattern she only ever used once. That bracelet, she says, pointing. Her voice shakes, but she doesn't back down. Where did you get it? Dante Moretti doesn't answer questions. He asks them. Everyone in New York knows this. He's 32 years old and runs the most powerful crime family on the East Coast. Though if you asked anyone officially, he's just a successful hotel mogul and real estate investor. Sophia has worked for his company for 3 years. In all that time, she's seen him exactly 4 times, always from a distance. He's a legend, a ghost, a name whispered with equal parts fear and fascination. But right now, he's staring at her like she's the ghost. Marco, Dante says quietly, his eyes never leaving Sophia's face. Clear the room. The man who appears in the doorway, 6'4" of solid muscle in a perfectly tailored suit, must be Marco. He moves with the efficiency of someone who's done this 1,000 times. Within 90 seconds, the investors are ushered out. The door is closed. And Sophia is alone with Dante Moretti. She should be terrified. She is terrified. But she's also spent 15 years wondering what happened to the boy from the hospital. And that bracelet is the only link she has. Sit, Dante says, gesturing to the chair across from his desk. I'd rather stand. His lips twitch. It might be amusement. It might be annoyance. Sit, please. Sophia sits. She's not stupid. You don't say no to Dante Moretti twice. He leans back in his chair, and, for a long moment, he just looks at her. Really looks at her, like he's memorizing every detail of her face, like he's seeing something he thought was lost. What's your name? He asks finally. You know my name? I work for you? Sophia Chen, event coordinator. I know that name. He touches the bracelet on his wrist absently. I'm asking for the name you used 15 years ago. The name of the little girl who sat with me in the children's ward of St. Mary's Hospital for 3 weeks straight. Sophia's breath catches. Sophie Yang, she whispers. I was Sophie Yang. The change in Dante's expression is subtle but devastating. His jaw tightens. His fingers curl around the armrest of his chair. And something in his eyes, something dark and desperate and relieved, makes Sophia's chest ache. Sophie, he says, and her childhood nickname sounds like a prayer in his mouth. You made me this bracelet the day before I was discharged. You told me it would protect me. Tears prick Sophia's eyes. You told me you were going somewhere dangerous. You wouldn't tell me where. But you were scared. You were 17 and you were trying so hard to be brave. But I could tell you were scared. I was terrified, Dante admits. His voice is rough now, stripped of its usual control. My father had just been killed. I was about to take over his business. I had no idea if I'd survive the first week. Sophia remembers that boy. Dante hadn't told her his last name. Hospital policy kept the older kids and younger kids in separate wings, but during her treatment she'd wandered into the teen section and found him sitting alone. He'd been recovering from a gunshot wound, though he'd told her it was a car accident. They'd spent 3 weeks talking. He'd read to her when the chemo made her too sick to focus. She'd made him laugh with terrible knock-knock jokes. And on his last day, she'd given him the bracelet she'd spent a week braiding in secret. You wore it, she says now, staring at the faded threads. All this time, every single day. Dante stands and walks around the desk. He moves like a predator, controlled, graceful, dangerous. But when he stops in front of her chair, when he looks down at her, there's something vulnerable in his expression. I searched for you, Sophie. As soon as I was stable enough, as soon as I had resources, I searched. But Sophie Yang disappeared. No records, no trace. My mom remarried when I was 12, Sophie Fee. I took my stepfather's last name, Chen instead of Yang. That's why I couldn't find you. He crouches down so they're eye level, and Sophia's heart stutters. I've thought about you every day for 15 years. Wondered if you survived. If the treatment worked. If you remembered me. I remembered, Sophia whispers. How could I forget? You were the only good thing about that summer. Dante's hand comes up slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she doesn't, he touches her face, just his fingertips against her cheek, like he's confirming she's real. You're here, he says. You've been here for 3 years working in my building and I didn't know. I'm nobody, Sophia says. I coordinate events. I'm behind the scenes. You wouldn't have noticed me. I notice everything. His thumb brushes just below her eye. How did I miss you? Over the next 2 weeks, Sophia learns what it means to be noticed by Dante Moretti. He shows up at her event planning meetings, sits in the back, silent, watching her work with an intensity that makes her fumble her presentations. He sends Marco to walk her to her car every night. The parking garage isn't safe, Marco says simply. Though Sophia suspects it's the safest parking garage in New York now that Dante's decided she matters. He appears in the hotel restaurant when she's having lunch, sliding into the booth across from her like it's the most natural thing in the world. You're making my staff nervous, Sophia tells him on day 9 when he shows up at her afternoon meeting for the 3rd time that week. Your staff or you? Dante asks. Both. Good. But he smiles when he says it, a real smile. Soft and almost boyish. And Sophia's traitorous heart does a flip. The problem is, she's starting to remember why she fell a little bit in love with 17-year-old Dante. And 32-year-old Dante is infinitely more dangerous. He's brilliant, ruthless in business, protective of his people, and when he looks at her, she feels like the only person in the world. But she also knows what he is. Everyone knows. The Moretti family doesn't just run hotels. They run half the underground operations in New York. And while Dante has never been caught, never been charged, the rumors are constant. You should stay away from me? Sophia tells him one night when he insists on driving her home. I don't belong in your world. Dante pulls the car over. They're on a quiet street in Brooklyn, far from the Manhattan skyline. He turns to face her, and the look in his eyes makes her breath catch. You think I don't know that? He asks quietly. You think I don't know that the smart thing, the right thing would be to keep my distance? To let you live your normal, safe life? Then why don't you? Because I spent 15 years looking for you, Sophie. He reaches over and takes her hand. His thumb traces circles on her palm. 15 years wondering if you were alive, if you were happy, if you ever thought about me. And now you're here, and you're asking me to walk away like you don't matter. I'm not asking you to walk away, Sophia whispers. I'm saying I'm scared. Of you, of what you do, of what it means if I let myself care about you again. Again? Dante's grip tightens. You cared about me then? You were my first crush, she admits. I was 9, and you were 17, and I thought you were the bravest person I'd ever met. I gave you that bracelet because I wanted you to have something of mine, something to remember me by. I never forgot you. Dante lifts her hand and presses his lips to her knuckles. Not for a single day. That's when Sophia's world tilts. Because this isn't just a childhood connection anymore. This is a 32-year-old man looking at her like she's his salvation. Dante, one date, he says. Give me one real date, not me showing up at your office, not me hovering. One evening where it's just us. And if at the end of it you want me to back off, I will. Sophia knows she should say no. She knows getting involved with Dante Moretti is asking for trouble. But she's spent 15 years remembering the boy who made her laugh during the worst summer of her life. And she wants, desperately wants, to know the man he's become. One date, she agrees. The date is perfect. Dante takes her to a private rooftop restaurant with a view of the entire city. They talk for hours about her remission, her career, her quiet life in Brooklyn, about his rise in the family business, the deals he's navigated, the empire he's built. He doesn't hide what he is, doesn't sugarcoat the violence or the danger. I want you to know exactly who I am, he says over dessert. Before this goes any further, you need to understand that my life isn't safe, that loving me means accepting risk. Who said anything about love? Sophia asks, but her pulse is racing. Dante's smile is slow, dangerous. Sophie, I've been in love with you since you handed me a braided bracelet and told me I'd be okay. The only question is whether you can love me back. She should say no. She should walk away. Instead, she leans across the table and kisses him. It's soft at first. Tentative. Testing. But then Dante's hand comes up to cup her face, and the kiss deepens into something desperate and claiming and absolutely overwhelming. When they finally break apart, they're both breathing hard. That's a yes then, Dante murmurs against her lips. That's an I'm terrified but I can't help myself, Sophia corrects. I'll take it. For 3 perfect weeks, Sophia falls completely in love with Dante Moretti. He's attentive, protective, surprisingly gentle. He makes her laugh, makes her feel safe despite the danger that surrounds him. And then everything falls apart. It starts with a phone call. Sophia is in Dante's penthouse. She's been spending most nights there now. When his phone rings at 2 a.m., she watches his expression change as he listens, watches the softness disappear, replaced by something cold and lethal. Stay here, he tells her, already reaching for his gun. Don't leave this apartment. Marco will be outside the door. What's happening? Someone targeted one of my shipments, killed 3 of my men. His jaw tightens. It's a message. Someone's making a move. Sophia's blood runs cold. Who? I don't know yet. He kisses her forehead. But I'm going to find out, and I'm going to make them regret ever touching what's mine. He leaves, and Sophia spends the rest of the night terrified. Dante comes back at dawn, blood on his shirt and fury in his eyes. He doesn't tell her what he did. She doesn't ask. But she sees the cost, sees the way his hands shake when he finally lets his guard down, sees the exhaustion and the guilt and the barely contained violence. This is my life, he says quietly, staring out at the sunrise. This is what loving me means, Sophie. Blood and danger and nights where I might not come home. Sophia walks up behind him and wraps her arms around his waist. Then come home to me, she whispers. Every time, no matter what. His hands cover hers. I'm trying to keep you safe. You are keeping me safe. You always have. But 2 days later, safety becomes a distant memory. Sophia is leaving the hotel after a meeting when someone grabs her from behind. A cloth presses against her face. Chloroform? Her mind supplies distantly, and the world goes dark. When Sophia wakes up, she's in an abandoned warehouse. Classic, her terrified brain thinks. Very dramatic. The man standing in front of her is older, scarred, and radiating malice. You're the Moretti girl, he says. Not a question. I'm not. Don't lie. He backhands her, and pain explodes across her face. You think I don't have eyes? You think I didn't see you leaving his penthouse every morning? Sophia tastes blood. Her vision swims. Vincent Caruso sends a message. The man continues. Moretti territory is no longer Moretti territory. And you're the price he pays for refusing to negotiate. She doesn't scream, doesn't beg. She thinks about 9-year-old Sophie, sick and scared but fighting. She thinks about the bracelet she made for a boy who needed protection. And she thinks about Dante, who has worn that bracelet every day for 15 years. He'll come for me, she says quietly. And when he does, you'll wish you'd killed me quickly. The man laughs. Big words for someone who's about to— Ah! The warehouse door explodes inward. What happens next is brutal and efficient and absolutely terrifying. Dante moves through the space like death itself, his men flanking him. The sounds of gunfire echo through the building. Sophia closes her eyes and counts her heartbeats. When silence finally falls, Dante is there. He cuts through her restraints with hands that are steady despite the blood spattering his suit. Sophie. His voice cracks on her name. Baby, look at me. She opens her eyes. His face is the most beautiful thing she's ever seen. You came, she whispers. Always. He lifts her into his arms like she weighs nothing. I will always come for you. Do you understand? There is nowhere on this earth you could be that I wouldn't find you. Outside, police sirens wail in the distance. Dante's men have already disappeared. Only Marco remains, standing guard. Caruso? Dante asks. Handled, Marco replies simply. Sophia doesn't ask what that means. She already knows. In the car, Dante holds her so tightly she can barely breathe. I'm sorry, he says against her hair. I'm so sorry. I should have protected you better. You saved me. I almost lost you. His voice breaks. Sophie, I can't lose you. Not again. Not ever. Then don't. She pulls back just enough to look at him. Don't push me away because you're scared. Don't try to protect me by leaving. Just stay with me. You still want this? He gestures to himself, to the blood and the violence and the impossible life he leads. After everything? I want you, Sophia says simply. All of you. The boy who kept a bracelet for 15 years? The man who burns the world down to keep me safe. I want all of it, Dante. Something in his expression shatters and rebuilds. Marry me, she blinks. What? Marry me? Tonight, tomorrow, next week, I don't care. But marry me, Sophie, because I've loved you for 15 years and I'm not wasting another day. Sophia Chen, formerly Yang, looks at the man holding her like she's precious. The most dangerous man in New York, who wears a faded friendship bracelet under his $1,000 suits. Yes, she whispers. Yes, I'll marry you. 3 months later, Sophia Moretti stands in the penthouse she now shares with her husband, watching the sunrise over New York. She's wearing a new bracelet, this one platinum and diamonds, a wedding gift. But on Dante's wrist, the red and blue threads are still there. Faded, but present. You should get rid of that, she tells him when he wraps his arms around her from behind. It's falling apart. Never, Dante says against her neck. This bracelet saved my life. It led me back to you. I led you back to me. I'm the one who asked about it. After 3 years of working in my building, if I'd known sooner, we found each other when we were supposed to, Sophia interrupts. That's all that matters. Dante turns her around, his hands settling on her waist. Do you regret it, marrying into this life? I regret that your enemies are idiots who thought kidnapping me was a good idea, Sophia says. I don't regret you, not for a second. Good. He kisses her, soft and deep and full of promise. Because you're stuck with me now, Mrs. Moretti. Stuck with New York's most dangerous man? She grins. However will I cope? I have some ideas, Dante murmurs, and sweeps her into his arms. Outside, the city wakes up. Inside, Sophia holds on to the man who kept her bracelet for 15 years, who burned the world down to save her, who loves her with an intensity that should terrify her. But she's not afraid. Not anymore. Because some love stories start in hospital rooms, survive 15 years of searching, and end with a Mafia boss who wears a friendship bracelet under his suit. And that's exactly the kind of love story Sophia was always meant to have.